Greetings, football fans. Today is Thursday, January 29th. This is the Shutdown Corner Podcast. It is Super Bowl week. I'm Kevin Kaduk, here with Frank Schwab and Jay Busbee. We are cramming the booth. We've got Eric Edholm here, too, for our big Super Bowl preview show. I know we said we were going to do 5 shows every weekday, but we decided just to get together and do a real big show because things get a little crazy in Super Bowl week, and we've been doing so much, and it's almost kind of crazy that we still have 3 days left until the big game, but somehow we're going to get through it, guys.
We might. Now, especially now that Marshawn Lynch's media obligations are done, we can focus on what's really important.
Guys, how long did it take you to transcribe his many comments today?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was, what did you think, Frank, about 18 seconds, 19?
That was a little more than that. He was okay. He was fine. He opened up and blamed the media and whatever. He told everybody that they hate him when I could really, honestly, could not care less about him one way or another. He's a good football player. I really don't hate him. I really don't like him.
I don't want to go down this road. I don't want to go down this road too much. I want to talk about Marshawn Lynch. Really, what I've been actually thinking of is like 2 years ago we sat here and yelled about deer antler spray for an entire week straight about the Baltimore Ravens, and I had completely forgotten about that until this week, and I was like, man, what was the big controversy of the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl? And it took me a while to figure out it was deer antler spray, and that was like the biggest thing in the world. And this is a little different because the Patriots have a little bit bigger profile than the Ravens and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But I think at some point this is going to fade into the distance, and everyone's like, hey, remember the Deflategate? People will be kind of like, oh, yeah, I sort of do. My question to the three of you, and whoever wants to handle it can take this. Are we doing ourselves a disservice? Are we doing this game a disservice by just focusing on deflated footballs and Marshawn Lynch's circus act and really ignoring what's going to be a great matchup and ignoring some of the really kind of cool storylines that are at play here?
Whew, that's deep. I'll let Eric take that one first. I have to collect my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably true, but also, like you said earlier with the deer antler spray, I had forgotten it too. I did not remember that. When somebody mentioned that, I said, oh my gosh, that was only 2 years ago, whatever it was. So it's crazy because we spent so much time during that week talking about that, and a week after the game, we had forgotten all about it. And now 2 years later or whatever, that's what happens. I mean, I think we get distracted on these silly, trivial, erstwhile things, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, guess what? This could be a really good Super Bowl between two good teams.
I'm of two minds on this. First of all, I do think that Deflategate is going to be like the Limp Biscuit in your iTunes of this particular Super Bowl, because it's going to pop up and it's going to embarrass the hell out of you when we start talking about it. But by the same token, this is the NFL's fault for setting it up this way, for having 2 weeks, for having multiple media sessions, for having letting these stories fester without having a game to tie it into. It's not like the World Series where you've got a game, you wait no more than 2 nights. Here you've got 2 full weeks for this stuff to percolate.
Let me take a different angle here, just because. First of all, I think Deflategate's going to last longer because people will always associate this with the Patriots because there's a lot of people out there who hate the New England Patriots. And if they win or lose, everybody in their dynasty when talking about their dynasty is going to bring up a Spygate, and it's going to be impossible for them to avoid Deflategate. It's going to be one and the same. They're cheaters. They don't deserve anything, and look why. I don't agree, but that's what people are going to do. Now, here's the thing, though. We talk about us as media. Are we doing a disservice? Are we this and that? We all know, all 4 of us know, we're in this racket, that the stories people have clicked on the most the last 10 days, whatever we are, is Marshawn Lynch and Deflategate. Even like Tom Benson last week, the Saints owner, who's basically his family is going to ruins, and there's this big fight. And that's a much juicier story. It's a much more important story. And it was crickets on that story. Nobody cares. Everybody just wanted to know about PSIs of footballs. So I don't know. I guess people like talking about this. I don't know why. I mean, I wrote yesterday a post I really enjoyed writing. It was fun. I think Rob Gronkowski is the best tight end of all time. I don't think that did half the traffic of Marshawn Lynch saying, you know why I'm here. It's
probably not.
It's what people want, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, it's just we're in the business of I guess.
Well, that's part of
about.
writing for a site like Yahoo. The circus tent is so big that you can't just write, "Hey, let's break down Rob Gronkowski versus the Seattle secondary," and have a lot of people respond to that because we're just writing to a more general audience. So I guess that is to be expected.
People do like that. I mean, it's just a different type of person, I guess, that likes the Gronkowski versus Seattle secondary.
But when all is said and done, I think if we hit Sunday and Tom Brady and Russell Wilson engage in this epic duel and it's such a great game, that's going to be the story from this Super Bowl, not Deflategate. I mean, maybe I'm wrong because they played that game in New Orleans. I think people are going to remember the lights out, but I think Colin Kaepernick. I just think that if the Patriots win, Deflategate just becomes a part of the lexicon with their dynasty. So it's a little bit different than like the ridiculousness of the Marshawn Lynch story, I guess. Let's delve into some of these deeper storylines and get into a preview of the game, and then we'll end with our predictions from the four of us. Eric, when you look at this game, what do you think it really hinges on? What is the matchup? What is the unit versus unit or player versus player that you think is going to decide this game?
Yeah, I think the guy on each side that to me is most fascinating is Marshawn Lynch and how the Patriots slow him down or try to. And also on the other side, the other running back battle with LeGarrette Blount and the power run game against the Seattle defense that at times has been a little soft up the middle. They've missed a few guys to injury now. They're having to play Kevin Williams, who's in his, 13th year, whatever it is, 10th year. A lot of snaps, a lot more than he probably should be playing at this point. So, as great as these quarterbacks are, low interception rates, great poise, great character, great clutch play from both Wilson and Brady. To me, the run game, I think, is going to be so important and so interesting in this one. Which team can stop it? I think that sort of changes the identity of the offense if you could take that run element away.
Yeah, Frank, do you agree?
I do agree. I think X's and O's wise, it's a huge part of this game. But I think going into it, the thing I'm most interested in, it is kind of outside my character because I don't like to talk about quarterback wins and rings are the only thing that matters. But if the Patriots win, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, right? I mean, is it over at that point? How could you? I guess if he wins a fourth ring and has been there 6 times and nobody's even, except Mike Lodish, who played a totally different role, nobody of his profile has ever been to that many Super Bowls. He would tie Bradshaw and Montana for most Super Bowl wins. I just don't know. And I've been a big Peyton Manning's the greatest quarterback of all time, but I don't know that I could argue that anymore if Tom Brady gets to 4. And on the flip side, if Seattle wins, we have this really interesting kind of legacy question with Russell Wilson that I think we've discussed a little bit of. He's not even their best player. He's not even their best offensive player, maybe. And yet he might have 2 Super Bowl rings after 3 seasons.
Well, and if he wins on Sunday, I think we start talking about, are they the New England Patriots? Is Russell Wilson set up to do this over 14 years like Tom Brady? And to me, Jay and I had this debate. We boil it down to Tom Brady versus Joe Montana. And I think if Brady does win it, I think he is the greatest just because of the span we're talking about. Montana won his Super Bowls between 1981 and 1989. Now, if Tom Brady can win one in 2002 and another one in 2015, that's another 5 years, and he could come back and win another one next year and maybe the year after that. So I don't think there's any
Tim
question.
Duncan. It's Tim Duncan at that point. That I mean, yes, the span, and also I just cringe when people say like Joe Montana going 4-0 in Super Bowls is greater than Tom Brady going 4-2, potentially. Because no, I'd rather make it 6 times and win 4 than make it 4 times and win 4. I know that we get this Michael Jordan legacy issue hanging over all of our heads with every sports argument we have, but it's just perfection in Super Bowls, which Joe Montana was, and he was great. I'd rather get to 6 and get to 4, right? So I just think I think at the end of the day, I think Tom Brady's the biggest part of the Super Bowl, even if he's not, like, again, and it's kind of, I'm contradicting myself, but I agree with Eric in that X's and O's wise, the running game is more important. I don't think Brady's going to throw for 300 yards, and goodness if he does, that's really impressive.
But then follow that out, the other side of that equation that you didn't touch on, which is, what if Tom Brady loses? I know you hate the hashtag legacy question, but what does that do for Tom Brady? Then he will have gone well over a decade without winning a Super Bowl. He will have lost 3. What does that do to his image?
Yeah, well, let me ask. Let me throw one more thing in too. What if he plays well and they lose, or what if he plays poorly and they win? Should that affect his legacy?
You wouldn't think. Well, I mean, that's the thing. We don't count it against quarterbacks when they play well, but they win. It's dumb,
right?
But like Ben Roethlisberger, we all say, "Well, he's got 2 rings." He was terrible in their first Super Bowl. He was awful in that game against the Seahawks, and nobody cares. It really is. You're right. What if Brady loses? I think that's a huge question. Of well, now he's just 3-3 in Super Bowls, and that's a big difference from 4-2. Now he's just 500 and didn't win over the last however many years he's going to play, at least a decade. Yeah, that's why he's so fascinating in this game. Even though, like I said, I'm contradicting myself. I'm a huge hypocrite because I hate quarterback wins and rings, and that's all that matters. But yet, at the same time, it does matter. And yeah, I mean, what if? I guess if Brady plays really, really well and they lose, he won't exactly hold it against him, but you will at the end. I mean, when we're writing his epitaph or his obituary of his career when he retires, we're gonna say, what did he do in Super Bowls? Well, he was started 3-0 and then he lost his last 3, and that's kind of the way it works for these guys.
Well, as someone who is a proud quarter Croatian, I'm actually more fascinated in the fact that this is the first all-Croatian coach matchup.
Yeah.
Boy, that was one of those questions that I listened to, and I was just like, yeah, this must be Super Bowl week if we're talking about, And Belichick actually answered it pretty
Croatian,
well.
Man? Everyone,
nothing. It was just
when they had the Super Bowl between Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy. What's wrong with that?
That's phenomenal. Do you think Bill Belichick has ever been to Croatia?
Yeah, he did. He said he's been there a couple times.
Has he really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I take it back.
It's a beautiful country.
I take it back.
Frank, yeah, you missed the opportunity. They should have asked this one on Friday when the guys were having their joint press conference. That would have been perfect for dual answer.
They could have got up there and maybe had Tony Kukoc mediate a discussion about the streets of Zagreb and
Croatia. Yes, this
the jewel of the Adriatic.
Yeah, so when you guys are down there in Phoenix, Frank and Eric, you've been down there pounding the pavement, and I know there's a lot of cliche answers, and everyone's crapping on, oh well, no one gets any quotes anyway, but people are talking about X's and O's things down there. Maybe Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll aren't, but when you talk with Josh McDaniels or whoever, Darrell Bevell, what are they talking about as keys to the game?
Well, I think Wilson's athleticism and his touchdown field, that combination is really tough. And so, I mean, that was something that Matt Patricia was talking a lot about, the defensive coordinator of the Patriots. They're using Jimmy. I wrote about it this week on the Shutdown Corner. Jimmy Garoppolo, the backup quarterback, the rookie at Eastern Illinois, he's trying to mimic what Wilson does athletically, being able to extend plays and get outside the pocket and move around and escape sacks and throw on the run. There aren't too many guys who can do it the way Russell does it. So, I mean, he has a tall order in trying to act like him. And, Matt Patricia said, hey, we're trying to get as good a looks as we can just to mimic that playmaking ability, that escapability, and that improvisation. So that's something I think that could maybe stun the Patriots early in the game if Garoppolo didn't do a good enough job.
And I also think in that vein that it's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots kind of steal ideas from the Panthers and the Packers, because both teams in the playoffs did a really good job not letting Russell Wilson beat them with their feet in different ways. The Panthers went about it in whenever the Seahawks did a read option, they would just have a guy on Russell Wilson. They would not let him keep the ball. They basically forced him to hand off. He wasn't going to be optioned out of this. They forced Russell to hand off, and they just dealt with the handoff. We're going to limit what you do so we can concentrate on one thing. And then the Packers played basically a spy. They had a defensive end kind of roving to make sure that Russell didn't just break the pocket. So, Bill Belichick's had 2 weeks to think about this. He's a genius. He's a great coach. I'm really interested to see how they keep Russell Wilson from beating them with his legs and force him to be a pocket guy, which he's honestly kind of up and down with.
Guys, last week we saw Russell Wilson look terrible for 55 minutes and then like the Messiah for the last 5. What would surprise you? We've had Super Bowls obviously last year. Peyton Manning takes a football to the face. The Broncos are already down 2 within the first couple seconds. What would surprise you 10 minutes into this game?
Wow, multiple turnovers by Wilson. I don't think we're going to see that same kind of thing. I mean, they've been slow starting the last 3 games. Seahawks have gotten off to some slow starts, but I don't think they're going to be. If they do, it's probably more because their offense, but I don't think it's going to be the turnover fest we saw last week.
You know, the funny thing is when you were asking that question, Jay, I always think about this. I was doing a radio show from MetLife Stadium in the Giants Stadium, and somebody asked me, what is the one thing you just can't see out of this game? And I said, the only thing I can't comprehend is the Broncos offense not scoring any points. Like there's just no chance of them getting held under double digits. I thought about that as they were getting shut out and they only scored 8. So who knows? I guess I should be having an open mind to anything, but I agree. I think that nothing would really surprise me. I don't think there's anything that would really, blow me away in this one. I think that it's there's nothing I can think of anyway that I'd be like, whoa, I didn't see that one coming. And unless it's like, as far as either team really having a pass heavy attack, I don't see that. I don't see the Seahawks throwing it a ton. I don't even see the Patriots throwing it a ton because Seahawks are so good on defense. I guess that would be it if both teams just decided we're gonna pass 3/4 of the time.
What's going on down there?
Yeah, who's eating chips there?
No, that may have been me. I don't know.
Do we not feed you enough, Eric? Are you having to eat beef jerky while we're doing the podcast?
I was nodding off during the segment. I need a little sugar.
So yeah, I agree with Frank. I think you look at all the things that can happen. Patriots winning a blowout, Seahawks winning a blowout, close game. It all seems on the table for me. Jay, do you agree?
Yeah, there is. I would be surprised if there are a lot of big plays. I think it's going to be a fairly close game. I would be surprised if there are the kind of plays that we saw the first part of the Seahawks game where you're scratching your head and saying, how can this happen over and over again? But yeah, you have so much talent and you have so many options on both sides of the ball with both teams that something huge could happen. Yeah, this is set up to be one of those great games, so it's probably going to be just a stinker.
Of course.
Last time the Patriots were here, of course, they lost to the Giants. The David Tyree catch, one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. The greatest Super Bowl ever.
No,
second
hitting him. You're talking about in Arizona?
Yeah, in Arizona.
We're talking about in Arizona? Yeah, okay. Well, I get my Giants-Patriots Super Bowls mixed up.
Yeah, so that was in Arizona. Did any of the Patriots talk about that? Has any of the losses in the last 2 Super Bowls really, are they just kind of brushing all those inquiries off?
Yeah,
Frank, I haven't heard any.
So robotic.
Yeah.
Guys who have been asked have just said that's the past. We're focused on this game, and that's who the Patriots are. That's really we want to talk. We want them at least to talk about. Gronk, you had to be so disappointed. You had that horrible ankle sprain and couldn't really help your team in that second Super Bowl, and he's just like. Has nothing to do with this week. I don't care. He's just focused on this week, and that's why the Patriots are great. They're not going to sit there and tell you, weave yarns about 2007 and that disappointment. They're just worried about Seattle this week, and I assume that in the back of their minds they do think about that. That'd be, they wouldn't be human if you hadn't thought about it at all. But they really are kind of a laser focused type of team.
See, that's why if I were the Seahawks, I would bring David Tyree walking through media day like the damn ghost of Christmas future. Just have him wandering around there holding a football over his head and spooking the hell out of him.
And here for the opening coin flip, David Tyree.
Oh, God, that would be awesome. That would be 10 times better than the whole Jeff Fisher putting out the guys who got involved in the RG3 trade for the Redskins game. That would, if they just stuck like David Tyree and Mario Manningham and Eli Manning as their honorary captain.
That would be better than Travolta introducing Idina Menzel for the anthem. That would be the best combination of the two.
All right, well, so we've got it all out on the table. I think we have a good idea of what's going to happen, what both teams can do. It's the top 2 seeds, second straight year that they've done that. You've probably been on a lot of radio shows this week, Frank and Eric, and probably you, Jake. People have asked you for their prediction. So 1, what is your prediction for this game? And 2, is it different from what you've been telling people?
That would be a decent idea, though, to just give a different prediction to everybody and then have something on the record that was right. So I may do that next year. But I will stick with what I've been picking all along, and that's New England Patriots. I think their offense is a little more reliable. I was at the NFC Championship game. I saw the Seahawks really struggle on offense for 55 minutes, especially Russell Wilson. I think the Patriots can exploit some of their weaknesses weaknesses. I think the Patriots do enough to get it done. I think they're in the 27-20 range. I think that's what I'll go with for my score. I think LeGarrette Blount wins MVP. I think they're going to run a lot. I just think the Patriots are a little better team than the Seattle Seahawks.
Eric.
Yeah, I'm going to take Frank's score and I'm going to flip it on its head. I'm going to go Seahawks 27, Patriots 20. I just think they're the better team right now. And even with their weaknesses defensively, I think they're going to be able to get an interception, some turnovers. I think they're going to be able to frustrate Tom Brady a little bit. Offensively, hey, they're not special, but I think they'll be able to find plays, whether it's something off a turnover on defense, something on special teams. I don't know. I just I have a feeling the Seahawks may be able to take this one with some big plays defensively, and 2 years in a row they come up big in the big game.
I want to give you props because at the beginning of the season, people can actually go look this up. You actually picked the Super Bowl correctly, Seahawks and Patriots, and I think you had the Patriots winning, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. And I kept telling people all along, well, why would I switch? I picked them in August. But the more I think about it this week, the more I think that – and I'm not hedging. I guess I am technically because I'm picking both sides.
It's the very definition of hedging.
Yes, there's no actual money involved. You won't be getting a bonus from us. So.
Yeah, but that's just that's sort of how I'm seeing it this week.
All right, Jay, what's your pick?
I will, since Ohio State is off the table, I will take Seattle as well for the same reasons as Eric. I think that the good defense beats good offense, but he broke it down effectively enough. I think it's going to be a closer game. I'm saying Seahawks by 3.
All right, I went with the Broncos last year and was proven very, very wrong.
And the Bears this year.
Yeah, Bears and Broncos. That didn't work out. But despite that, I'm still going with the Patriots because I think that Belichick and Brady see that legacy there. I still can't disregard what happened to the Seahawks offense, the first however many minutes of that Packers loss. I know that the Patriots had their struggles against the Ravens, but they had eventually ironed everything out. I just think the Patriots win this. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to say 23-20 New England. So
2-2.
Yeah, it's one.
I like it.
It really is one of those games that could, and that's great that we both picked a 2-2 because I think that's reflective of this game. It's a great matchup, and I've said this 8 billion times on the radio this week, if you played it 100 times, it's 50-50 probably, honestly. So you're just picking which side of the coin it flips on Sunday.
Yeah. So, well, now that we've got that in the books, we've taken care of the business. Want to get some of your thoughts on just kind of general scene down there in Phoenix? Have you at least been having fun between all the slugs on Marshawn Lynch and Deflategate?
Who said that wasn't fun? Come on. It's a blast. No, it's been great. Here's the thing. It's like, and this is inside baseball, and I apologize to anybody who doesn't care, but that's fine. I was sitting waiting for Gronkowski yesterday because I was writing that story about, that post about how I think he's greatest tight end and blah, blah, blah. And these two guys to my left, and I won't say who they are because I'm not even trying to know who they are, but they're just complaining so much about having to cover the Super Bowl. And I felt so like, when people talk about the sports writer cliche, like that's these two guys. Like, what are they talking about? I love covering a Super Bowl. It's awesome. Like, it's awesome to be here. It's going to be awesome to be at the game on Sunday. Yes, there are certain like little things about our job that annoy me. Like sometimes like media day is too crowded, but whatever. I'm not going to say like, God, I really wish my bosses wouldn't send me this anymore.
I want to give you the Boy Scout optimism badge, Frank. Pick that up in the office when you get back.
Frank, that guy was me, okay? The salsa wasn't spicy enough.
I didn't want to call him out. I didn't want to call out Eric on this one.
That's
but
so weird.
No, it's so much fun to be here. It really is. And even the goofiness of like Marshawn Lynch or whatever. I'm doing this for a living. I can't complain too much. It's one thing I've really noticed this week is it seems like, and Eric, you can, maybe I'm wrong, so tell me if I am. It seems like the amount of Seahawks fans and Patriots fans is 4-1. It just seems like Seattle. I don't know if that's because of the geography of Arizona being close or even the weather back east, but it just seems like all the Seahawks fans are here and there's very few Patriots fans. And I don't know if that matters, but it doesn't not matter. We saw the Broncos last year in the first play get screwed up by the noise and have the safety on the snaps. So maybe it does matter, but there are a ton of Seahawks fans out here.
Yeah, it's
they're actually having ticket problems. Charles Robinson has written a couple of great articles. Tickets are going for $8 or $9 grand, which blows my mind.
Crazy.
Crazy, and again, the Seahawks fans tend to be a little thinner than my friends from New England. I grew up there, so I can say that. So it's hard to tell sometimes exactly how many people there are here.
What do you guys think about Katy
crazy.
Perry? Eric, you were just at her press conference.
I was.
Scouting report?
She said lions and tigers would be there as part of the show. She said it was going to be a visual feast or something like that. I'll let you guys take that and spin it forward, if you will. But yeah, she's interesting. I can't quite figure out whether I like her, or hate her, love her. I don't know. I guess I'll be curious to see what.
I like her. I'm a Katy Perry fan. She's a good little pop princess. She does well. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm all in after her appearance on College Game Day when she went to Ole Miss, cheered on Ole Miss, went out into the town and got drunk along with the college kids after they beat Alabama. That's a real entertainer right there. She's
and hot dog jokes too. Yeah, hot dog jokes.
Oh, sure. Okay, now I'm going to give back my optimism badge here, Kevin. So feel free to take it back and give it to somebody else. But I'm going to do my annual thing where, if I go to a music concert, I don't expect in the middle of it to see like 4 downs of football randomly. I don't see why we need a concert at halftime. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I'm there for a football game. If I wanted to go see a concert, I'd go see a concert. I'd go see Katy Perry. She came to the Pepsi Center in Denver. I didn't go see her. I would have if I wanted to see her. I don't see why we need this like 45-minute halftime when it's just nonsensical. Like, the Super Bowl's not enough. We need Katy Perry at halftime. I don't get it. I guess this makes me really old,
about
man.
45 minutes, so you guys can file about 12 posts apiece. That
I didn't hear a word. By the way, this isn't really a complaint. It's just kind of funny that a lot of people have asked me, like, "Oh, what was Bruno Mars like during the halftime last year?" We were in a sealed press box where it's very soundproof, so I could like see somebody was like on the other side of the field was performing. I could kind of hear that music was coming. I couldn't hear a word he said. It wasn't like Mars. It was just kind of like I had my head down writing in a dark press box, and I guess Bruno Mars was somewhere out there. That was about the extent. So I don't think I'm going to be the one to give you a great Katy Perry critique at the end of this one.
Hey, Frank, listen, if people like you ran the show, we wouldn't have had Prince in Miami with the rain coming down playing Purple Rain. All right, so let's keep that bottled up. All right.
No, wait, I didn't. You guys. You and Jay have done this great series of debates,
yes,
a lot of Super Bowl debates. The
Yep.
one I didn't see, but I saw the headline. I forgot to click on it. It was a busy day. Where did you guys come down on the greatest Super Bowl halftime show? Did you guys do the greatest or just the worst?
We did the worst, but we did a quick hit of the greatest. So yeah, we tore apart the worst, and then we just listed the greatest.
It had to be U2, right? They won.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be spoiler alert, but they had to be U2.
I don't know how you could pick anything else, really. I think
I just don't. It's one of those like it's basically Gretzky the field where if you pick anybody else, you're just being a contrarian. Like it's U2. That was the greatest of all time. And let's just talk about number 2. I mean, that was.
Well, I think our buddy Chris Chase over at For the Win,
beautiful, and everything you could say about that halftime show. That I just don't think Katy Perry.
Yeah, our old buddy Chris Chase For the Win picked Michael Jackson as the greatest one, and I can sort of see where he's coming from because he's saying that laid the groundwork for these ultra mega Super Bowl halftimes, and hey, it was the king of pop, but it wasn't a very good performance. If you go up to YouTube, he's lip syncing, and it's kind of So
I don't remember it for him like standing there for like 2 minutes, right? That was the deal.
That's right.
Like that was the big deal. Like he just stood there like blank for 2 minutes. Give me U2 on that one.
At some point, they're going to have the Jacko hologram do the Super Bowl, and that's going to be really awesome.
Motley Crue, man. That's what I'm holding out for.
I'm in favor of all things holograms.
They're running out of people, though, man. Bruno Mars and Katy Perry, like, who's next?
Yeah, who is next? I mean, who? Well, they had
great. Yeah,
who were they had Coldplay, Rihanna, and Katy Perry were the 3 mentioned for this one. So
they're getting into like Imagine Dragons territory.
Oh no. Oh, that's bad.
And I guarantee you.
I thought we hit.
Why has Bon Jovi never done it?
The Black Eyed Peas. So.
Bon Jovi's never. Yeah, why is
Bon Jovi? Why not?
Yeah.
Robert Kraft didn't call in a favor.
I don't think Bon Jovi gets out of bed for less than $1 million, and they don't pay these people to do this. So that might have something to do with it. Kings of Leon would probably do it at some point. They suck. Mumford and Sons. Is it too late for Mumford and Sons to do it? Just some guy just wailing away on a banjo.
Spin doctors will pay to get in.
You know, like how we look back. We look back, and it's like, what the hell were we thinking about swing music? At some point, we're gonna and I'm already thinking, it's like, what the hell were we thinking about when everyone was really into banjos? What? Any good eats down there? You guys had anything good to eat, or no time to eat, or what?
We've had Mexican about 19 times since we've been down here. I blame everyone who works at Yahoo suggesting it before we go out to eat. I think I'm done with Mexican for the week.
No cowboy chop.
I'm gonna. I think I've picked my Super Bowl Sunday spot. I'm going to go to Oregano's, which is a great pizza place out here, and I hope they hear this and sponsor me, and I don't have to pay for my lunch on Sunday. But
nice.
It's been a lot of fun. We're right here on Mill Street. We're in the shadows of Sun Devil Stadium, and it's a great place to be. It's very fun. Yes, it's been good with a lot of Mexican food. He is correct.
Get the oyster pizza.
A lot of talent on the Arizona State campus.
Well. I mean, since you bring it up, I can't dispute that. I will have to go ahead and agree with you there.
I guess I'll open my eyes tonight when we go out.
All right. Well, hey, great work down there. Shutdown Corner has been a great read. It will continue to be a great read the rest of the Super Bowl fortnight. It seems like a fortnight. I don't know how long a fortnight technically is, but
you're right. You're on it.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin Kaduk, Jay Busbee, Frank Schwab, Eric Edholm, read all our stuff. We appreciate it. This has been the Shutdown Corner Podcast. We will be back here, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, wrapping up all the great stuff. Until then, enjoy the game and don't eat too much.